Fritz, a star of the television show American Pickers, has a sign prominently displayed in front of his antique shop in Illinois. The sign contains a mysterious remark that could be a message to his close friend Mike Wolfe. After the former American Pickers star suffered a stroke in July 2022, Frank, who is 60 years old, and Mike, who is also 60 years old, had a disagreement and recently reconciled with each other. In Illinois, Fritz Finds is an antique store that he owns and operates. He sells a variety of objects, ranging from old signage to furniture. It is possible for the United States Sun to disclose an exclusive photograph of a peace sign that is displayed outside of the antique business that reads, "I believe that the majority of people are good." The phrase might be making a reference to his best friend who has been on and off for a while. The firing of Frank. The most recent time that Frank made an appearance on American Pickers was in an episode that aired in March of 2020. After undergoing back surgery, which left him with 185 stitches and 2 rods in his spine, he decided to leave the program in order to rehabilitate. In an interview with the United States Sun in 2021, Frank disclosed the fact that he had a feud with his co-star Mike. According to Frank, "I haven't spoken to Mike in the past 2 years. Despite the fact that he was aware that my back was infected, he did not call me to inquire about how I was doing. But that is the way things are. Everything is stacked in his favor 100% of the time. If I were to bend down so much, I wouldn't even be able to show you how much. That is not a problem." The situation is similar to that of Aerosmith, with Steven Tyler serving as the band's frontman in this case. "I found my place on the show. I'm currently in second place, and he's in first place. I don't have a problem with it, but it's possible that he does have a problem." As a further admission, he stated, "I believe Mike is trying to get his brother Robbie in there to take my place. I am really perplexed as to why he is acting in such a manner toward me." In July 2021, shortly after the interview, Mike made the announcement that Frank had been fired via Instagram. He posted a photo of the pals with the following, "I have known Frank for as long as I can remember. He's been like a brother to me." As is the case with all aspects of life, the adventure that Frank, Danny, and I embarked on in 2009 has been not only filled with highs and lows, blessings and challenges, but it has also been the most rewarding. It is via these places, people, and things that we all share a common thread, and the support that you all have given us has been a continual reminder of what the show's message has always been. It is not just to take care of the past that we are here, but also to take care of each other. Mike summed up his feelings by saying, "I will miss Frank, just like all of you, and I pray for the very best and all good things for him on the next part of his journey." After that, Frank experienced a stroke in July of 2022, and the following month, he was placed under conservatorship and guardianship. Once more, friends. The Quad City Times was informed by a friend, over the course of a painful reunion that took place over Memorial Day weekend, Frank and Mike were able to restore their friendship. This was not at all a conflict between Mike and Frank, according to the insider who made the statement. They did not engage in a feud. They needed time apart in order to fully appreciate one another. After 11 seasons of working 10-hour days, 7 days a week on the reality television show, the buddy disclosed that their relationship suffered as a result of the stress. The men were overcome with emotion, according to the source who spoke to the newspaper about the long-awaited reunion. A buddy of mine commented, "Both of them were crying." Mike mentioned how anxious they were both about appearing on David Letterman, which was one of their first major appearances. Michael also mentioned how scared they were. "Nobody can replace you, Frank," Mike said to his longtime co-star when they were together. Following the statement that Frank made to his friend, "I need to talk to Mike," the arrangements were settled. Mike really emphasized all of the good times they had before the show and during the show, the insider said following the conclusion of the conversation. Mike did say he'd like Frank back on the show, but Frank is focused on his health. A source close to Frank stated to the United States Sun that everything between them is fine. The two of them had known one another for 40 years. In addition to having completed all of this together, they went to high school together. They are wonderful buddies, and they are extremely good friends. Since Frank suffered the stroke, Mike has reportedly paid him a few visits, and the two have also been in contact via phone and text message today, according to the insider. According to the source, Frank is even closer to Mike's brother Robbie than he is to Mike himself, despite the fact that he has replaced the highly regarded character on the show. After that, the friend said, Frank suffered a stroke, and as a result, he must now do what he must do. And Mike and Robbie, along with the rest of the program, carry out their duties. Despite all of that, they are just friends, and the discussion is the same as it has always been around here. The topic of discussion is that those guys are obsessed with picking and discovering things. Therefore, that's the talk. The return of our Frank? It was earlier stated by the United States Sun that Frank is unable to return to the show after suffering a stroke that occurred more than a year ago. The United States Sun was informed by a source close to Frank that the stroke had an effect on his speech, and as a result, he is unable to return to the show. You never know, however, and there is always hope that one day will come. According to a second source who spoke with the United States Sun, he is unable to return to filming, but the cast and show want him to. On December 27, the opening of season 25 featured Mike, his brother Robbie, Danielle Colby, who has been a major star for a long time, and Jersey John.